Hello, babies! Welcome back to the channel. My name is Melanie, and as always, I am super jazzed to be here. Today, we are going to be talking about the Entourage Effect and whole plant medicine. But before we get into it, a quick disclaimer. I am not a doctor, nor am I a scientist. If cannabis is not legal where you are, or if you are not of the legal age to consume cannabis, please don't watch this video. Also, don't take anything I'm saying as medical advice, because I've already told you that I'm not a doctor. And that wouldn't be very smart, would it? For all other disclaimers, please visit the link above to my introduction video for the cannabis series so that I do not get sued. Perfect. Let's get into it. The entourage effect is a theory that all individual parts inside of cannabis have greater therapeutic benefit when consumed together due to their synergistic relationships inside of your body. The first mention of the entourage effect was by Professor Raphael Mechoulam and Ben Shabbat, both working out of the Hebrew University Medical Facility in Jerusalem. It might have been Professor Mechoulam and Ben Shabbat that discovered the entourage effect, but it was really Ethan B. Russo who took that theory, started asking some very interesting questions, and really brought it into the spotlight. Before we get too into those questions, when we're discussing the entourage effect in regards to cannabis, it's talking about the cannabinoids, the terpenes and flavonoids responding and interacting synergistically with each other to increase the therapeutic response on your endocannabinoid system and in your body. So what does that mean? An example of the entourage effect would be the relationship between THC and CBD. In our endocannabinoid system, if you don't know what that is, check the link above. In our endocannabinoid system, THC binds very strongly with the CB1 receptors throughout our central nervous system. That means if you were to consume too much THC, for example, there would be a lot of it floating around in your blood, binding to all of the receptors and potentially causing an overdose-like reaction to the cannabinoid. If anybody out there has ever smoked THC or cannabis and consumed THC, I should say, you would know that the over-intoxicating symptoms of THC are less than pleasant, usually involving paranoia, anxiety attacks, and sometimes the occasional existential crisis. It's not a laughing matter, though. It's funny afterwards. You can't die from overdosing on THC. So, you can laugh about it later. Too much THC in your system means the effects are really, really long-lasting and extremely strong. Now, if you were to consume whole plant medicine, so you smoked a product that had both high concentrations of CBD as well as THC, or if you took an oil or an edible that had a balanced ratio of these things, you would have both THC and CBD floating around in your bloodstream. Having even the smallest presence of CBD in your bloodstream at the same time as THC has been shown to weaken THC's ability to bind with the CB1 receptor. This means having THC and CBD in your system together can reduce some of the negative side effects of having too much THC in your system, as well as take away and mitigate some of the risks of over-intoxication by weakening THC's ability to bind with the CB1 receptor. CBD's ability to weaken THC's bind with the CB1 receptor is the entourage effect. That synergistic relationship that causes CBD to help prevent and mitigate the effects of over-intoxication of THC is a benefit that consuming THC and CBD together provides. The entourage effect. When molecules from cannabis work together in your body, the entourage effect. It's a really fancy way of saying that using a whole plant all together means that everything in that plant is going to work together in your body. Russo wanted to know if using whole plant medicine worked better or worse than using single molecule products, so THC or CBD only products. He compiled all of the literature that he could find on epilepsy being treated by CBD. After he closely analyzed the body of research on CBD and epilepsy, he got some really interesting results. According to Russo's findings, 71% of patients improved from CBD dominant plant extracts meaning that there was other compounds and cannabinoids present, but CBD was the dominant part, while only 36% of patients improved from purified CBD, so a product that contained only CBD. Now that's a pretty big difference if you ask me. 71% of patients improved from a CBD dominant plant-based medicine, while only 36% of patients improved from a CBD purified product. Pretty much proves that something else is going on in there. Now, it is really important for me to mention that the entourage effect is a theory for a reason. We don't know how it works, and we can't predict the results of the synergistic relationships of different cannabinoids and terpenes in our bodies yet. Like most areas in cannabis research, we need a lot more studies to be conducted on a lot wider base of test subjects. Last week we did a video on terpenes, the link is above here, but I did want to specifically point out that terpenes are a big part of the entourage effect as well. Cannabis has been shown to contain over 200 different types of terpenes, all of which provide their own different therapeutic profiles and potential medical benefits. Combining them, as well as the cannabinoids within the plant, really opens up a plethora of potential therapeutic benefits. Studying the entourage effect might be one of our best ways of discovering how best to utilize plant medicine and cannabis specifically in treatment of any number of ailments. Now, you hear me talking about the entourage effect and whole plant medicine, and these things aren't just talked about when we're on the topic of cannabis. We also talk about whole plant medicine when you're using any kind of herbal supplements or even psilocybin or magic mushrooms. To me, this brings up kind of an interesting topic, and that would be the Western approach to medicine and a more natural, holistic, I just about said old school approach to medicine, a more grassroots approach. And I really do sympathize and understand both sides of this argument, or the two sides of this one coin. I know that we need to separate the cannabis plant in order to better understand how the individual molecules interact with our bodies, study them, predict how they can react to a healthy body as well as to specific ailments, and that is one of the only ways that we'll be able to use legally cannabis as a medicine effectively within the Western society. That being said, I have a hard time feeling like single molecule derivatives do cannabis justice when you get staggeringly different results from whole plant medicine to single molecule products. So I get that we need to dissect the cannabis plant in order to better understand how to use it in medicine, but I also hope that by dissecting it, we take the time to really study the entourage effect and realize how these individual compounds really work better together. I'm a bit biased though. I definitely believe that nature is one badass designer, so I tend to lean to the side of if you find it together, you should use it together. That's just me. The entourage effect is not only a huge player in the medical application of cannabis, but also in the recreational market. The synergistic relationships between terpenes and cannabinoids is likely why flower is still such a hot, popular item, while other stronger, way more potent options exist, like oils and waxes. When you extract the THC and CBD out of the flower itself to create oils or waxes or other concentrates, you are losing a lot of the terpenes, which changes the way that the cannabinoids acts in your body, and it also changes the way it tastes. A lot of these products will add back in terpene profiles or other chemicals that mimic terpene profiles in order to make THC, CBD oil have indica effects. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the development of research around the entourage effect and different terpene profiles can kind of change the types of products that are being marketed, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to charge us for that. Flavor points aside though, the entourage effect can also be used to save you money in some situations. CBD, in a way, primes your endocannabinoid system and increases THC's absorption rate while decreasing the intensity of its binding to your CB1 receptor. What that means is you could potentially use less product and mitigate the potential over-intoxicating effects of THC while getting just as high. So you might be able to save a dime or two as well. Anyway, guys, it's a bit of a shorter video today, but that's what I've got for you on the Entourage Effect. You may have noticed a little bit of a change in the lighting and in the background. It's winter here. Good old December, and in Canada that means it's dark, like pitch black by 4. So I've got a light in my face and the sun is quickly going down, so I don't have much more time to record. I love you lots. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit that subscribe button and the like button if you enjoyed the video. I will see you next week. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer single compound isolated products, so like a THC oil or a pure CBD oil, or if you stick with that more grassroots approach with a whole plant extract or simply smoking some flower. I would love to hear from you guys, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Mwah! Bye!